Experiences from my first silver pouring session. I have seen a steadily increasing interest in our community wanting to pour silver, and after carefully watching our fellow community pouring members for the past 4 years, I finally felt confident enough to give it a shot myself. So I thought I would share my newbie experiences as I go. As I look back at the channels of our existing community pours, I noticed that they all had done the same, chronicling their journey right from the beginning. I observed that each pour has their own flavor that they bring to the pouring bench, and I'd say that it's that originality that attracts us to their products. I've seen some incredible pours made into wood, into graphite molds, in cast iron molds, in muffin trays, sand-casted molds. I've even seen an anthill used as a mold. The only limitations are really within each of us as pourers. Some pourers will use a gas furnace, some electric, while others may use an oxygen acetylene system, and still others just a handheld map gas torch. There are so many ways to express your craft when it comes to pouring silver. And then there are the personal techniques. How ripples are formed in a piece. The different techniques used, bumping the mold, rocking the mold back and forth, using a low torch flame, either kept in one constant position or waving it back and forth, others opting for a smooth surface finish. And then there are the different degrees of polish and polishing techniques that can be applied, tumbling, buffing wheels, Dremel tools, or just sitting on the back porch with nothing more than a silver polishing rag and an ice-cold bottle of beer. Every pour has their own hallmark that identifies their pieces. Some may be limited editions and have serial numbers and certificates of authenticity, while others may be available at any quantity upon request. And still others may be one-of-a-kinds or even custom orders to a particular specification. Regardless, every individual pourer's work can generally be identified as their own, and that's what makes hand pouring silver so special. As a new silver pourer, I am still kind of discovering where my style will fall within the different techniques and styles available to me. Some of the initial discoveries I made with my first pour is that I enjoy making pieces as perfectly as I can. When I get a pour to flow out of the crucible smooth and clean at the target weight, and the top of the pour is balanced from side to side and end to end of the mold, I feel like I've done it right. I know that there is no such thing as a perfect pour, and there's not supposed to be. I use the term perfect to describe a specific feeling I get when I complete a pour that's just right to me. I found that the larger the pour, the easier it is to do it right. I found that pouring a 3 kilogram crucible into a mold less than an ounce can be very challenging. I'm sure I will improve with time and practice, but the crucible is so long that when the silver really gets flowing, I found it harder to control into the smaller molds. A 1 kilogram crucible would make it much easier, but would limit the amount of silver that I could pour in a single session. And because of the smaller diameter of the crucible opening, a 1 ounce round would have to at least be cut in half before it could be placed inside. With a 3 kilogram crucible, an entire roll of 20 1-ounce rounds can easily be placed inside, one stacked upon the other, and with plenty of room to spare. I did experiment with a 100-gram porcelain crucible under a map torch, but I found it was very difficult to maintain the heat that I needed to get a smooth pour. I created an oven environment with fire bricks to help retain heat when using the handheld porcelain crucibles, and I'm sure it helps, but I think I'll need a little bit more practice to get it right. I am discovering that the metal needs to be well above the melting point temperature. You really have to keep a flame on it throughout the pour, and the actual pouring movement needs to be smooth and steady. I am finding it's more than just a verbal instruction or description, and really more of a feeling that you have to have as the molten metal leaves the crucible and enters the mold. Once my pour is made, weighed, and tumbled, it is stamped. I found that stamping the back first works best for me, putting the weight, purity, and date, etc., and then stamping the front last. Because the back of the piece is usually flat, it affords me a solid platform for design stamping on the front. Rather than having a custom-made hallmark stamp, I have chosen to build my hallmarks for each piece. This, of course, will make the production process more time-consuming and difficult, but it's my intention to create unique products with different designs that will appeal to a wider variety of people. Once the stamping is complete, the polishing begins using a silver polish and a rotary tool. The stamping is blackened and a final hand polish is achieved before they're placed into their shipping bags. My first pour series consisted of 14 pieces, with all the bars and buttons having the same hallmark. Their uniqueness was designated by the FP stamp, standing for First Pour, accompanied by a certificate of authenticity providing the number of 14 that was assigned to each piece. I'm very proud to say that all my first pour pieces were sold during the ST66 live chat auction this past weekend. And I want to thank all of those individuals who bought one for supporting my pouring bench and my channel. I'm already looking at some different ideas for my next pour and making them ready for this weekend's live chat auction, so I hope to see you there. Do you like to collect community hand-poured silver? If you do, tell me why in the comment section below. A big thank you to all who support this channel by watching the entire video, commenting, liking, and sharing my content. It is greatly appreciated. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, you can subscribe to the channel by hitting the subscribe button. Then be sure to select the notification bell to be notified as soon as I post up new content. Feel free to stop by the ST66 Discord to read, watch, and discuss issues pertaining to precious metals and events that affect them. It's totally free and available 24/7. You can also join us each weekend at the ST66 live chat auction, where we have giveaways, a trivia contest, and auction off some bullion products. It's a great time for all, so feel free to come and join us.